He brings the wrong woman to court, then freezes when she walks in as the federal judge. The courtroom air was thick, heavy with the weight of unspoken accusations. Marcus Tate stood at the defendant's table, his calloused hands gripping the edge as if it could anchor him. A black man in his mid-30s, he wore a second-hand suit that strained at the shoulders, a silent testament to his life's grind. His eyes, though, burned with a quiet fire, defiance mixed with dread. Across the room, the plaintiff, Karen Wells, sat ramrod straight, her blonde hair pulled tight, her lips a thin line of disdain. She'd accused Marcus of harassment, claiming he'd stalked her at her upscale gym, cornered her with threats. The charge was a lie, but her privilege made it stick like tar. Marcus's lawyer, a harried public defender named Greg, shuffled papers nervously. "Just stick to the truth, Marcus," he whispered. But truth felt like a flimsy shield in a room where every glance seemed to weigh his skin first. The jury, a mix of faces, stared blankly. Some leaned forward, curious. Others sat back, arms crossed, already decided. Marcus felt the noose of their judgment tightening. The bailiff's voice boomed, "All rise for the Honorable Judge Adrian Wells." Marcus stood, his heart a dull thud. Then the door swung open, and time stopped. She walked into all, commanding, her federal judge's black robe flowing like a shadow. Adrian Wells, late 40s, her dark skin glowing under the courtroom's harsh lights, her eyes sharp as obsidian. Marcus's knees nearly gave out. He knew her, not just her name, her face, her voice. 20 years ago, in a diner where he'd bussed tables as a teen, she'd been the law student who tipped him extra, who'd seen his dog-eared history book and said, "You're going places, kid." Now she was the judge presiding over his fate. And her last name, Wells, the same as Karen's. Karen's face drained of color. She fumbled with her purse, her confidence cracking. Whispers snaked through the crowd. Adrienne's gaze swept the room, lingering on Marcus for a heartbeat longer than necessary. Did she recognize him? Her expression gave nothing away as she took her seat, her gavel a quiet thunderclap. "Be seated," Adrienne said, her voice smooth but edged with steel. The trial began. Karen's testimony was polished, tearful. She painted Marcus as a predator, a man who'd fixated on her, who'd followed her for weeks. "I feared for my life," she said, her voice breaking artfully. The prosecutor nodded, smug. Marcus's stomach churned. He'd never been to that gym. He worked nights at a warehouse, barely scraping by. But Karen's story was airtight, backed by a security guard's vague statement and a grainy photo that could have been anyone. Greg cross-examined weakly, tripping over objections. Marcus wanted to scream. Then Adrienne leaned forward. "Ms. Wells," she said, her tone deceptively calm, "you claim Mr. Tate followed you on March 15th. Where exactly were you at 8 p.m. that evening?" Karen blinked. "At the gym, Your Honor." Adrienne's eyes narrowed. "Interesting, because gym records show you checked out at 6:45 p.m. The courtroom stirred. Karen stammered, her story fraying. Adrienne's questions came like precise cuts, exposing lies stitched together by assumption and bias. Marcus's hope flickered, fragile but alive. Then came the twist. A new witness was called Lila, a black woman in her 20s, nervous but resolute. She wasn't on any list. Lila worked at the gym's front desk and had overheard Karen bragging to a friend about putting that guy in his place. Lila hadn't come forward earlier, fearing retaliation. But she'd seen Adrienne on the news, a black woman in a robe of power, and found her nerve. "I couldn't stay quiet," Lila said. "He didn't do it." The jury shifted. Karen's facade collapsed, her eyes darting to the exit. Marcus's chest loosened, just a fraction. Lila's courage was a spark in the dark. Marcus took the stand, his voice steady despite the crowd. He spoke of his life 12-hour shifts, raising his daughter alone, the constant weight of being seen as a threat. "I don't stalk Karen. I don't even know her," he said. "But I know what it's like to be judged before I open my mouth." The jury listened. One juror, an older black man, nodded faintly, as if seeing his own son in Marcus. Adrienne watched, her face a mask, but her eyes held a storm. When Karen's lawyer tried to twist Marcus's words, she shut it down with a single ruling. The truth was clawing its way out. Closing arguments came. The prosecutor leaned hard on fear, painting Marcus as a danger. Greg fumbled but pleaded for fairness. Then Adrienne spoke, her instructions to the jury laced with a quiet fire. "Seek truth, not assumption. Justice demands it." The jury deliberated for hours. Marcus sat in a holding cell, staring at the cracked wall, praying for his daughter's future. When the verdict came, the courtroom was silent. "Not guilty," the foreman said. Marcus exhaled, tears burning his eyes. Karen stormed out, her heels clicking like gunfire. But Adrienne wasn't done. She called for order. "Ms. Karen Wells," she said, her voice low and deliberate, "I recuse myself from any further proceedings, but I'm referring your conduct to the bar for investigation." The crowd gasped. Adrienne's gaze softened as it met Marcus's. "Mr. Tate," she added, "this court sees you." Later, in the hallway, Adrienne approached Marcus. "I remembered you," she said quietly. "That kid with the history book. Keep going." Marcus nodded, speechless, the weight of her words a bomb. Lila caught up, shy but proud. I had to," she said. Marcus hugged her, a stranger who'd changed everything. They parted, each carrying a piece of the victory. As Marcus walked free, the sun hit his face, warm and unyielding. He thought of his daughter, of Adrienne, of Lila. The world was still broken, but today truth had cracked through. He'd fight on, not just for himself, but for those who'd stood with him. What do you think? Can justice heal when prejudice runs deep? Or is every step forward a battle we must fight together?